Crystal Tapping with Tiffany. In today's video, I wanted to go over exactly what tapping is, how I incorporate crystals into my tapping regimen, and some of the benefits. Just basically give you an overview of what it is, how I do it, to give you a better understanding when you're watching my actual tapping sequences. So, first of all, the modality is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique Tapping, or Meridian Tapping. And it's based on the ancient Chinese medicine known as acupuncture. I'm sure that you've seen in movies, on TV shows, or maybe even actually had it done, acupuncture, where they take small needles that aren't sharp and they place them in different spots on your body. Those spots are energetic pathways known as meridians, energy meridians. And acupuncture is, and let me preface this, I'm not an acupuncture expert. I'm not an expert there. So this is just a basic overview that acupuncture is used mainly to treat physical ailments and not typically psychological or mental health issues, which tapping, EFT tapping, is perfect for. So, using EFT tapping, it allows you to use psychological acupressure to break through emotional barriers that are keeping you stuck or in a rut, or repeating things that you want to get rid of, you want to clear out of your life. EFT tapping is a wonderful tool for that, and it's something that you can do quickly. It is something you can do without a lot of tools, a lot of money invested. It is something really you could do with just your physical hand and knowing the tapping routines. So, but how I do it is I incorporate crystals into my tapping. I started working with crystals when I started making jewelry, which is back in like 2008. I think I made my first piece of jewelry to sell back in 2008. And I've been fascinated with crystals even before then. So of course, when I started making jewelry, I got really into crystals and the healing properties, which the healing properties of crystals are based on the each crystal vibrates at a different frequency, and those different frequencies correspond to different things in your body. Also, crystals, you can use crystals with color therapy, which correspond to the chakra system. So different crystals work well for different things. So when I got into tapping, which I admit I did for probably about 3 or 4 good years, until one day something said, you should try crystals while tapping. And you may think, oh, you need to have a specific shape of crystals. That is not true. You can tap with any type of crystal. If you can hold it in your hand and use it to tap your face or your tapping points, you can use it. It could be, it doesn't have to be this huge crystal. It could be something small. It doesn't have it'll still work. So the my main tapping crystal is this one. This is my everyday tapping crystal. This is a clear quartz Lemurian point. It does have a little pointy edge there. You can see it does have the record keepers. Look up Lemurians. That's a whole other video. Anyway, so I use this because clear quartz is a amplifier. It boosts other crystals or any type of energetic work. Quartz is used as a amplifier to boost that work. So of course, when tapping, you want to, this is going to boost whatever thing you're tapping with for. Some of the other crystals that I use will depend on what I'm tapping on. For instance, if I'm tapping on manifesting financial abundance, better business, I'm going to go with something like a citrine or an aventurine. If I'm tapping on lack of creativity or inspiration, carnelian is probably going to be my first choice. If it's dealing with self-love and self-care, that's definitely going to be rhodochrosite or rose quartz. Root chakra issues, which are things of protection, feeling stable, wanting stability in my life. I'm going to go with something like a black tourmaline or red jasper because those correspond to issues in that area. So when tapping, there are certain points that you do. First, you start out with what's called the karate chop point, which is, if you look at it, it's obvious why it's called the karate chop point. Karate chop. And even if you just take your two fingers, which a lot of people do when tapping, and there's no right or wrong in tapping, there's just different techniques. This is just mine. But even if you take your two fingers and you tap here about a minute, you can feel the vibration. You can feel that. So when doing a tapping routine, you start there, and what you do, we start with what we call setup statements. And your setup statements are usually statements where you acknowledge your problem, whatever you're tapping on, and acknowledge your love and care for yourself. So one of the things that I struggle with is procrastination. I've been making this video for about 5 days now. Just got it done. So, but if I was tapping on procrastination with my crystal, I'm going to say something to the effect, even though procrastination is something I struggle with, I deeply and completely love and honor myself. Even though it's taken me 5 days to do a 15-minute video, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And then I'm going to do the rounds, and I'm going to just tap one just so you can see what I'm talking about. I struggle with procrastination. It seems like I always have. And sometimes it feels like I always will. But that doesn't have to be my story. I don't have to choose to procrastinate. I can choose a different story. I can choose to do it differently. Now, that is a complete tapping round. The setup statement is separate, but starting with the eyebrow point, outer eye, inner eye, under nose, under chin, collarbone, and underarm, and top of head. That is how I do a complete round. So starting here, ending here. And then I'll do that as many times as I feel I need to. Sometimes I write out a script beforehand. Sometimes I freestyle it. And it's intuitive sometimes, and I just go with it. The last statement is going to end at the top of the head, and I say, in my mind, body, and soul are in agreement. And that cuts off the tapping routine. Now, one other thing that I do, this is a little jumbled mess, but bear with me. Before I start tapping, like I said, procrastination is something I struggle with. And I might do an energetic check-in. So, how much is procrastination bothering me today? I told y'all it took me 5 days to do this video. That means I'm probably in about a 7 or an 8 procrastination. A 10 would be 2 weeks. A 2 might be 2 days or even a day. But whatever that number is, I'm going to tap on. I'm going to check in before I start tapping, before I do my setup statements. I'm going to check in with my body, and I'm literally going to say, so what does that feel like today? What's that number? And I use a 1 to 10 scale. You can use whatever scale works for you. But that gives me a baseline to know when I'm done tapping. Sometimes I just know and don't use a number. But a lot of times, especially if it is an issue that is reoccurring, like I said, procrastination for me. Another one for me is divine timing, that I'm exactly where I need to be. I struggle a lot with that. I'm always want to rush things, control issues. But anyway, so when tapping on those things for me, I'm definitely going to use a number. I'm going to say, okay, I'm feeling like an 8 today with this. So, and an 8 might require 2 separate tapping sessions. I might do 5 rounds and realize, you know what? That didn't really move the needle. It didn't take me down. It took me to a 6. That's still 6 on for procrastination. Still pretty. It's still not really good. So I might want to, with procrastination, I might want to get down to a 2. Because truthfully, a 0 probably ain't going to be, I'm probably not going to be able to get to a 0 tapping. That's just, not on a 1-day tap. That's the other thing about tapping. It works best when you're consistent with it. And I say this as a person who allows things to get in the way of me tapping. And I know that I function better when I do it every day. I don't do the same ones every day. Sometimes, like I said, I freestyle it. Sometimes I watch my own videos. Sometimes I watch other practitioners. Just, depending on what I feel like. But it is something you would benefit from. I don't say should. I hate the word should. You would benefit from doing every single day. Every single day, some sort of tapping. Even if it's just a quick 1-minute tap, which I do have on TikTok. I have some 1-minute tapping videos on my TikTok channel. Tips glitz there. My YouTube channel and Instagram. A 1-minute tap per day is better than a no tap per day. That's just my philosophy on it. I hope this has cleared up some of the misconceptions and, questions you may have had about tapping. Any other questions, comments, concerns, please leave me a comment. Feel free to reach out to me. You can find me at Tips Glitz on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Bigo Live. You can find me there too. Twitter, I'm just Tiffany, Tiffani Talks. So you can hit me there. I'll look forward to hearing from you.